as promised, we already have a guest here in the studio, and we're going to talk about something very interesting, because building a startup is certainly not an easy task, right? It requires persistence, creativity, and of course capital to be able to compete in the national and international arenas. Some startups also present their products with digital technology or innovative ideas.
Yes, especially nowadays. And there's a lot of startup companies developing and also drawing a lot of attention from many people from various sectors. And startups, of course, in recent years have become one of the new, hopefully it's not only trend, but it is also there to stay in the business world, including a social startup that provides a safe and dedicated space for digital campaign organizers.
As we may know, that social campaign activities on several issues are usually carried out by a handful of people to go directly to the field. And nowadays, with the development of technology, campaign activities are built using information technology facilities to spread missions and messages to mass audiences through digital platforms.
Yes, and one of such startup is the social startup from our own country, which is intended for many communities to voice changes, to actively work and on impactful and sustainable social campaigns, and also to take action on several issues that they care about. So let's find out more. Joining us today this morning is the CEO of Campaign.com, William Gondokusumo. Good morning, William.
Hello, good morning, Marissa. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. So Campaign.com, right? I think this is a good startup that you have. My first question is, what is Campaign.com doing that is different from others, such as like Kita Bisa or even Bike and all that?
Okay, thank you so much. We love those other platforms, and I think when we first started, we made the choice, the decision actually to not compete. Right? The social sector, we need more collaboration, right? And Kita Bisa is doing an amazing job. Bike also came onto the field. So we decided, what can we do different? Right? And then from there, it actually forced us to innovate. Right? So we searched around. The first thing we do always, we Google, we search around the world, and I was like, everything's been invented.
Yeah, almost.
Yes,
Just about.
Then suddenly something happens, right? Like Enga, you were saying, on the ground, right? So we went on the ground, we talked to the social enterprises, we talked to the charities and the communities, and realized what they needed was a new way to engage, a new way to fundraise. Right? And so that's how Campaign actually evolved.
How does it work then, Campaign.com?
So how it works is that we are a social action platform, right?
Social action platform.
Yes, where you can actually donate without money, right? Through your actions.
Right.
And how it works is that social organizations, they will challenge their supporters to take action, right? These actions tend to be simple and thoughtful, right? To create some kind of change in our own lives. And when you complete these actions on our app, it unlocks a donation from a sponsor. Right? So that is how it works in a nutshell.
So can you give us a concrete example of some of the projects that you've already done? Like, for example, this is the cause, this is how the sponsor works, and this is how, you know, the supporters can actually make not only social changes that is impactful for those around them, but also actually for themselves as well.
Sure. Thank you so much, and I'm also so happy to meet you in particular, Marissa, because you were one of the reasons why we became full social, right? You, Ulan, Sophia started the Mulai Bicara campaign.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
Shocker.
That's why when I saw you in the week, I was like, you know what to say. And we were not full social. So when campaign started, social was our CSR, right? But your group of friends really inspired me, like how you all, just the enthusiasm, the focus, dedication, the school outreach, you know, the hundreds of schools, you know, it was crazy, and made me believe that something that is so important to so many people is something that I want to dedicate my life to, that is worth doing. Right? So that is the start of it, a few years ago, and it evolved. So the concrete example that recently we did was with WWF, right? And the campaign is Be a Blue Traveler.
Be a blue
traveler, yes. So it's to protect our oceans. Right? So the actions were very simple. It was fun, right? Take a photo with your favorite beach. We all have one. Yeah. A fun fact about the oceans, all these things. And when you complete the actions, unlock a 50,000 rupiah donation from the sponsor for WWF to fund their coral restoration, and local community empowerment programs. So it was a very simple and fun way for people to engage and appreciate our blue environment.
Yeah, that's great. So basically, by posting a picture of your favorite beach,
Yeah.
it means that you're sort of like indirectly donating 50,000
Yeah.
that is actually being given by
Correct, a sponsor.
a sponsor, whoever the
Yes.
sponsor is.
Yes, and because what we are saying is like to make us aware. Because in our day-to-day lives, we don't really think about the oceans. We don't. It's a
Yeah.
bit, but when we take the action and when the donation unlocks, it changes something in you,
Yeah.
right? That we are aware of it and that this is helping someone, right?
Right.
And it makes your day better. I feel it.
No,
Right?
that's
And-
true. It is true because you're doing something good. Of course, you automatically feel good.
Yes.
Now, William, this company of yours it's been around for quite some
It's
time
been
now,
around,
and
yeah.
it also went through the pandemic phase also. Now, with startups, as with many startups, we know it's not easy, like I already kind of stated in the beginning. So, what are the challenges that you're facing maybe now, or maybe you have faced in terms of maybe laying off some people or some staff, but you managed to stay through and then pull through? Is there anything in specific that you actually had to do in the past, in the last maybe couple of years during the pandemic times?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. The pandemic itself was our moment of truth. Because as we all know, social is a very offline. It was on the ground.
Yeah.
And before the pandemic, we were rushing from school gatherings to
Yeah.
car-free day. It was always running around.
Everywhere.
And that's what our sponsors were looking for, the energy of the offline events. And suddenly that disappeared.
Yeah.
Right? And so, frankly, we were like, could we even exist? Right? And so for all the staff founders, for people laid off, or the people dealing with uncertainty, I feel for you because we felt that many times in our history. And so what we did was, first thing, we really leaned into technology. Right? We went full remote. It was initially really just to keep people safe. I didn't want anyone to get sick because of work.
Of course. Of course.
And thankfully, everyone's okay, but it actually became our saving grace, right? Because we reduced our costs, we really, rental, everything disappeared. We managed to retain everyone, but
Wow.
we were actually a few months away from just almost giving up. I was losing hope, and our team actually stepped up, right? They actually found sponsors and clients for me that it was totally not their job desk, but they're like, let us try. And the whole team came together and we got through it. And thankfully now we know social awareness actually is increasing, right? So our moment of truth was 2 years. So for all the other startups going through it, I would say really hang in there and bring people together
Yeah.
as much as we can.
Yeah, and I think your team members also believe in the mission of this company as well, which is actually a very kind mission, right? It's helping each other.
Great.
You can't help but want to support that.
Of course.
Really?
It's not that hard. It's the way you explained it in the beginning, just snap a picture
No.
here and there, and then you can actually be part of this nice, very, very good cause.
Yeah, and
Right?
also what I
Thought of it
noticed
that
during the
way.
pandemic was people were actually kinder because we lived the same
Yes.
harsh reality of the pandemic. I remember when I was talking to my little brother who was doing an online driving cab during the pandemic. And then he'd say, it's just amazing how generous people are at tipping, or sometimes they would even buy me lunch and stuff.
Yes.
So, it's basically that sort of shared reality that glued us together. And hopefully, even though the pandemic is transforming into endemic, we will maintain this kindness towards each other.
Yes, and it's definitely increasing.
It is increasing,
Yes,
you think?
increasing. Because it changes you, right? The people who help, they do it not just to help your brother or them, they're also doing it to help themselves. Right? And that's what we realize is that when people take these actions, right, and when they just make social, just a little part of their lives, because we're all busy. I understand you donate to a certain point, you volunteer when you can, but then we're kind of lost on what to do. Right? Our app builds that community where those little actions like reading, right, doing sports, exercising,
Right.
hand washing, all these things
Yes.
are all part of a social fabric. Right? So a habit of like reaching out to a friend,
Yes.
right? You do it in our app, you don't specifically about the friend, but say, I commit to reach out to a friend today, and you do actually unlock the donation.
Yeah.
It feels more engaging.
Yes,
Right? It feels more, we are social beings, right?
Yeah.
It feels more together.
Exactly. Do you have not offline, but my husband hates it when it's like, it's not offline, it's face to face. You know, it's like, it's good, it's face to face. Like, I know that this platform is virtual, it is online, right? But do you have like an extended program where it's like, hey, if you want to really see the changes that you make virtually, we have this sort of offline thing
Yeah,
that you can attend.
So for campaign, we are working on it.
Right.
But for the offline, I would say that we have a network of over 500 social organizations across the country.
Lovely.
Right? And all of them are actively on the ground. So if we are looking for something offline, there's always something. We can check out our social media. The calendar is chock full. It's full, and we're always inviting, not just for our own events, but for others.
Yeah.
We collaborate. So yes, there's always an offline, right? That we do.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
So you mentioned that your platform is a social platform, of course, you know, especially before the pandemic. But the key sectors, can you kind of just tell us a little bit more about it, on what you're focusing on?
Okay, so we have 4 social issues. I mean, there are a lot, but we focus on 4, right? So it's environment, equality, education, and health, right? And then there are sub-issues. So for health, there's like physical health, public health, mental health, emotional health, right? But we try to make it simple, right? And so we focus on these 4, inspired by the SDGs, right? There were 17, and we're like, that's a lot for an app.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
You have to pick and choose somewhat.
we had to pick and choose. We consolidated, we grouped it, and so we came up to those 4, and we realized that I think for anyone, right, these 4 affects all of our lives,
Yeah.
right? And some people may be more concerned over one over the other. We say that's fine. You don't have to be
okay.
perfect and care for.
Oh gosh, perfection, right?
Yes, that's the problem with the social sector. When I first came in, I was like, how can you use a straw, you know, once in a while? You shouldn't. I don't use straws, but I'm not going to judge someone who is
Yeah.
like teaching, like on the ground, helping people for education, but for her or him, the environment may not be their top issue. I'm saying that's fine, right? Find a social issue that you care about and embrace it. And don't judge others. It's tiring.
I mean, it's kind of counterproductive as well, because if you want others to actually join your movement or campaign or your mission, you kind of want to embrace them instead of judging them, right?
Yes.
So what other campaigns that campaign.com have done successfully so far? The WWF, that was one.
Yeah,
What else?
and-
What other ones that you're proud of?
So you're talking about offline. So this one I really love was with AMSA, which is the Asian Medical Students Association.
Okay.
We worked with them before the pandemic, and during the pandemic, it was a tough time for them. Right? It was
course.
like really, everything was social distancing, the rumah aja, remember all those. And but every year they will do one for World AIDS Day, right? And so this year, last year, the pandemic was about hopefully over everything, and they
Tapering.
were like the tapering, and like, let's do it offline.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we had a sponsor which was like, I want to do it offline.
Of course.
So
We want connection.
Yes, so it was amazing. There was an art exhibition, there was talks, there was songs, there's everything, and we loved it. So it's play safe. It's about playing safe. So we wanted, and AMSA really wanted to push this message because it's not just about AIDS and everything. It's about being responsible about health in general. And it was something that resonated with their age group because they're still in school, right? And something very, very important.
This is almost part of a sex education
Yes,
school in a
it's
way.
a responsible sex education. So it's
That's
a bit
good.
controversial. And
It shouldn't be controversial, William, right?
Yes, thank you for that.
It's health. It's
Turning the
health.
corner around. Right.
And it has evolved. So the first year we did it, our sponsors was like, we are not touching it. And this year they were looking for us to make it. And the reception was great. Right? On social media and everyone, they really covered it in very positive light. Right? And yes, so things are changing. Right? And I would say it's an exciting time, right, to be in the social sector.
It is very exciting.
Yeah, look at that. You got
Yeah.
about 1,000 supporters, actions and look at the donations.
19
Correct.
billion rupiah.
Yeah, so our focus is really the actions and the awareness changes everything. So we're saying that 19 million for AMSA is a big sum. Right?
Yeah.
They do a lot of things, but it's not enough to fund everything. They
Yes.
still should do crowdfunding. They still should do all the other things that they've been doing. Right?
Yes.
And what we love is that we give them this 1,000 of their supporters, a lot of them medical students, another way to engage, another way to
Right.
support. Because they are medical students, you don't have that much time.
Yes,
right?
no.
If you're volunteering, you are doing, you're helping people in the
Yes.
medical field. So for them, being able to tell their supporters, tell their association, you can take action and unlock donation. It won't take up too much of your time. You don't have to donate. You don't have to. It makes. They said there's a whole new segment of their students who became engaged because of this campaign,
Lovely.
and that to me was the most moving moment for me. It made me everything worth it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you want them to be engaged.
Yeah, and from not knowing or not caring to caring.
Caring.
Really.
Yes.
That's really good. And what sort of campaigns are you doing right now that we can get ourselves involved in?
Okay, wow. Okay.
Too excited.
So please download. We'd love to have you on our platform. And right now we actually have 12 challenges, which are supported by the Indica Foundation. I'm allowed to say. That's very clear. And so the challenges are amazing. It's about empathy, and one of it is by the Bailey Creative Education. You take 4 actions, simple actions to show inclusivity and understanding towards students with disabilities. Right? You complete
Very
these
important.
4 simple and thoughtful actions. You unlock a 20,000 rupiah donation for them to buy books for these students with disabilities. Right? And so this one, and then there are 11 more about racial, about religion, everything, because their main focus right now is always been about creating a more inclusive society. Right? So that's something that's ongoing that we're very excited about.
That's
And
great. So it means that you are actually going to buy books from the money donated, sponsored by Indica. It means that you are going to send those books to the people who need it, right?
So the amazing thing is that the social organizations
Yes.
decide what they want to use the funds for.
Right.
So these are programs they're already doing.
Right.
So they know how to do it better.
Okay, so you just give the fund.
We give the funds.
Right.
So we create trust, right? So the organizations know that the funds are ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the sponsor also knows that the funds won't be released until the challenge is complete, right? So when a lot of our some sponsors, they are like, I don't want to give to these organizations. I want to give to the well-known ones because I don't trust whether the money be used.
Yeah.
We're saying they have earned the money. They've done the brand awareness, they have done your conversions and everything. So it's not a donation, right? It's really a marketing service, right? And so there's.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, clearly we love what you're doing, and also one of the keys to happiness, because we're also talking about joy. When you help others, you actually do feel joyful. When you donate, if you want to elevate your joy, it's actually to also usually go to the place and see it firsthand, and actually volunteer your energy, and not only, of course, the energy of your thumbs help, but also the entirety of you when you're there with the people. Not only that you're connecting, but you also feel that it's like what I'm doing is actually really does help people, even if it's just a little.
Slightest bit, right?
It's a starter. It
It
starts. So we have people after taking action, then they start donating, then they start planting mangrove trees.
Yeah.
It's a big jump, And then it's like they are going to build
steps.
schools, right?
Yeah.
Because for them, it becomes a habit.
Yes.
Frankly, I mean, I sleep better. I just feel,
There you go.
No, that's
it's like
true.
it. Perfect.
It is true.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
well
kidding
said.
you.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
So, William, all this good stuff happening, do you have, currently maybe, or in the near future, projects that you're actually now investing your time and energy on that you actually can share with us?
Wow, yes. So for campaign itself, when we went full remote, when we went online, first campaign was Jakarta focused. Right? Well, offline was everything. And suddenly suddenly people were approaching us, right? We had the Premiers, which is Indonesian Students Associations in the US. Suddenly
yeah,
we're working
Premiers.
like them.
That's right.
Yes, you were part of it.
Well,
I assume.
I was.
yeah, he was.
I haven't heard that for a while. That's why.
Oh yeah, Premiers.
Right? And then even like the Indonesian embassy in Peru worked with us, and we were like, you know, and it's astounding me because when I first went to start, every founder dreams of creating a startup from Indonesia that can go global.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And you give up that hope after a while. Just think Indonesia is big enough, Jakarta is big enough, 32 million, everything. But when the pandemic happened, all of a sudden we realized these borders are not that hard anymore, right? It's fluid. Right? And so something that we are really passionate about is expanding campaign nationally and then regionally and then globally.
Yeah.
Right? And the best part is that it's possible.
It is.
All of a sudden, we're not limited, oh, you are from Indonesia. We don't know who you are. You are Bali, eat, pray, love. And they full stop. It's no longer that. Yeah, we're introducing them about our mangroves. We're introducing them about the orangutans and everything. And the plastic reduction, although it's a big problem in Indonesia, we are really working on it. You know, everyone understands the issue.
Yeah, Tiza Mafira, right? One of the activists who's trying to reduce plastic.
And it's really, everyone understands it. Right? And I love how Indonesia, social awareness, social support, it's just, if the energy here feels different, you know, because we have traveled around, we have talked to people, and here it's just more like, I want to do more, how can I do more?
Yeah.
Where some places, like, these are the issues I care about, or I don't care, don't disturb me. You know?
That's a good thing.
Country would that be? You don't have to say. Anyway, it's very exciting. For those of you who are still curious about campaign.com, please do check it out. You can actually go to their website, which is campaign.com, or you can download their apps, which is available, actually, if you open their website. Click either its Android or Apple Store. Well, thank you so much, William.
Thank you, William, for coming in.
Success to you. It's very exciting. I will definitely, I've actually downloaded it already. I just need to log in.
Thank you. Now we've found you.
Yes.
Thank you, and you have a lovely day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right, it's time for a break. After that, we will come back with updates from around the world. Stay with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.